What's up, guys? This is the Bladed Wedge Show. It's August 25th, 2020. We're just guys who love watching golf, talking golf, and most importantly, playing golf. I'm Trey Pizzetti, and I'm here with my good friend Alex Checo. How you doing, man?
Yeah, what's going on, Trey? Big playoff event this week.
I know. We've been getting some good golf. We've been spoiled lately. We did take a week off last week after the PGA. We actually had a pretty fun weekend down on the Jersey Shore, so we were struggling a little bit, and also it was a pretty low key event. So we thought it was a good one to take a break on. But now that we had the Northern Trust, we're in the Fedex Cup playoffs. We had to get back at it.
Well, we got a big stretch of golf coming back up. With the playoffs, and then we roll into the U.S. Open, and then we get into the Masters. So the break was good, but definitely itching to get back at it.
100%. And we did have a good weekend down in the Jersey Shore. We were in Avalon, Sea Isle area. I had never been down there. I went down and stayed with Checo and a couple of our friends from Boston. Had a good time. Didn't play any golf, but we did have a lot of fun that weekend. Had good weather. But how's your Pinehurst prep going, man?
It's going well. I'm trying to get out there and play. Luckily, we got some guys who we all kind of do the beach together. Who you met last weekend. We all went out and played Shoregate, which has kind of been like my home track it's right outside Sea Isle this summer. I've played it like probably 7 or 8 times. So it's getting there. It's getting there. I just need it's come September. I need like consistent month of like solid, like going out and playing like at least once or twice a week. Because I cannot go down there and play bad golf. That just cannot happen.
I know. That course that I was Googling that course that you're playing at, it looks pretty nice, and especially for how convenient it is to you. But totally get it. Yeah, it's really about getting the short game dialed in, right? You can hit it everywhere, but as long as your short game's well during an event like that, you won't be at least blowing up. So I feel like you'll get it going once you're down at the shore's over, and you have all of September to really grind it out.
Yeah, I really have all of September, all of October, which is like because it's not till late in October. So I have like 2 solid months of like good prep that I can do. I'm just hoping that we get some like nice fall weather.
Yeah, absolutely. And if the summer's any indicator, you'll definitely be able to get some good weather. But let's move into the Bladed Wedge tee sheet. This weekend we had the Northern Trust at TBC Boston. Actually, an event that you and I went to last year, which I kind of forgot until I started watching it. But it was definitely weird watching without the stands. I was kind of trying to figure out exactly where we were sitting and stuff. And without the stands, it was a little tough. But pretty interesting event. The course played very easy, and Dustin Johnson really dominated, going 30 under.
Yeah, he just kind of made everyone look silly. He put together like a phenomenal weekend. I think the one day he had, what did he shoot the one day? Like, was it 59 or
no
60?
He shot, so I think he ended up shooting 60, but he was like 9 under through 7 or something ridiculous like that. So he was definitely on track, and he parred in, and everyone was seeming like so disappointed. I'm like, this guy just shot 60. Like, he's not mad about it.
Yeah, he's not mad about it, one. And then two, it just shows you that like 56, 57 is like so realistic on the PGA Tour.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, someone's going to get it, especially on a course like that where you can start off that hot. You can make 2 or 3 eagles and then really, make a couple more putts, and you're looking at low 60s, and you have a really, really hot day. You could touch, 58 like Furyk, or even lower potentially.
Well, and I think this, and I alluded to this a couple weekends ago. When DJ is playing well, he truly is unstoppable. Like when we saw him at the U.S. Open at the course in Pittsburgh. What's it called? Crap, what is it called? Whenever he won his last U.S. Open, he was playing such a good stretch of golf where he was unstoppable, and people just kind of got out of the way. Felt like this weekend was Oakmont. Yeah. He was playing that stretch of golf where he was unstoppable, and people just kind of slid out of the way because he hits his driver so long, and he just gets so dialed in with his wedges where it just becomes, hey, let me just pound driver, then hit wedge to 5 feet, make the putt. And I think when that is happening, you really, no matter whether it's DJ, Brooks Koepka, Bryson DeChambeau, you really can't keep up with that. Like the
Mhm.
guys who aren't as long as them cannot keep up, and they just have to accept that and just try and finish as high as possible.
Absolutely. I think Kisner had a really funny quote where he said something like, yeah, like I've been playing against DJ for 30 years, and whenever he starts playing like this, I just go and try to add to I'm not trying to win, I'm just trying to go
Yeah.
and add to my bank account, which I think is so true. Like when the guy who's that talented is that dialed in with his wedges and putter, I mean, it's not anything that a lot of guys can compete with. And, it is kind of interesting because he's back to that Spider TaylorMade putter. He actually had
Hmm.
switched mid-season or after the restart to more of a blade style, and then he put this one back in his bag, and his coach was like, "Why did you ever switch?
Yeah.
Like you putt so well with this putter. I don't know why you would ever switch." So it is funny, even though best in the world are truly tinkerers, like just like the local amateur golfer.
Well, did you see Golf WX threw up his bag that he, like the equipment he used in or like when like this past weekend?
Uh-huh.
They threw up his bag, and it was just like like crazy, like all tailor made, like. And it was interesting because he has a 52-degree wedge and he has a 60-degree wedge. So I wonder how far he hits that 52-degree. Probably like realistically like 130, 140. You think?
Yeah, I was thinking 140.
Like, that's just nuts.
Yeah. So if he can just get under 150, he's probably
Yeah.
hitting a wedge.
Yep.
Which is crazy. But so he was one of the first. He was the first player besides Tiger in 37 years to lead the scoring average on par threes, par fours, and par fives, which is pretty crazy. And this win bolted him to number one in the world as well as number one in the Fedex Cup for this season. Obviously, all the players are two more events and they're chasing. I think it's a $10 million prize, so
Mm-hmm.
pretty big deal to bolt up to number one there. He just has edged up Justin Thomas, who has been very solid throughout the whole season. So it would be interesting to watch everyone duke it out over the last two events. Kind of moving on to some other guys. Rory, I know we were talking about this earlier, but really still struggling to find his game, and has been talking about how he's not really inspired. What are your kind of takeaways with Rory's comments and how he's been playing lately?
Well, I think golf is just such a tough game where if you're not playing well, it's really hard to stay motivated towards it. And it's hard to see other guys playing really well and you just in this standstill, like call it like a lackadaisical approach towards like competing each week.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in order to get out of that funk, he has to like win. Like he has to get like a W under his belt, which will get him back to that feeling of like 5-6 years ago when he was just like lighting it up. So that, I just think until he wins or until he finds some sort of spark, it's just gonna be like going through the motions with him.
Yeah, absolutely. I really think the uninspired kind of hits the nail on the head. He's hasn't played terrible golf. He just hasn't had like the runs or like the fire that he normally has. And I know, watching him, his wedge game has been very off, which is uncharacteristic of him. But it seems like that's something that he could tweak. But golf's hard, and it's hard, mentally as well. So the good thing for him is there's a lot of golf he played this year, right? So he's got two more events to kind of figure it out, and he's got two more majors coming up. So it'll be interesting to watch him play. Obviously, want him to get back to top form. But kind of a cool thing coming out of this weekend was the picture that went viral with Rory and Tiger sitting at the lunch table with Tiger's caddy, and they were just literally just eating like a sandwich, drinking a Diet Coke, talking. And it's like, I have no idea what they're talking about, but that was a table that you definitely want to be at.
100%, and it could be very similar to what we're talking about right now.
Yeah.
Like Rory is like Tiger's a mentor to Rory, and Rory probably seeks advice from Tiger on like how to get out of these funks because it happens. Like every golfer is going to go through it. I'm sure Jordan Spieth is probably saying like very similar things, just not like openly and publicly. So that very well could be, but they're also, I mean, that table of four people was just insane. Like,
it's crazy. I mean, it was definitely like, I'm sure it was a combination of just casual talk and also talk about their games. I mean, they played the first 2 days together, so they're pretty, they probably talked a bunch, and then also, be kind of recapping how they played and what they can work on.
Yep.
I'm sure, honestly, probably talking pretty technical stuff about the swing and different shots and how to hit them and how to play them. So, I mean, that would be so cool to listen to, and it really just shows, like, if you could get these guys to be a little bit more open on some sort of like video content, talking about their games, talking about how to hit the shots, like everyone would eat it up.
Totally, definitely.
In other news, kind of going to Tiger, his son won another tournament this weekend, which is just kind of so funny to see, like his son dominating the junior circuit. I'm sure he'll continue to do that. Tiger needs a top 4 finish this week, probably top 4, if not top 5, to move on to the Tour Championship. So that's something to keep an eye out for. Last thing on the PJ Tour before we move to the Champions Tour, Brooks dropped out with an injury. Really hadn't played too well since Saturday of the PGA. He says everyone was kind of reporting he's done for the season. I'm sure we'll see him back for the majors. He probably is just resting up, leading up into those. But do you have anything to take away with Brooks?
Just a bad time to get injured. Like a bad time to get an injury, because even if he does come back from the majors, he's still going to be like not 100% or not going to be totally in form. So I think using these events definitely helps in the preparation for the majors.
Yep.
And I can tell you that Wingfoot and Augusta are going to be playing pretty tough. Like they're not going to be easy events to go to and try and compete in when you're not playing 100%. So, I hope he comes back. I think he will come back, but just a tough time to get hurt.
Absolutely, very, very tough. And then moving to the Champions Tour, we got Phil playing in his first event this week. Yesterday, Monday, was his first round. He put up a 61, and that is, obviously was really just bombing the ball on a shortened course. Phil still hits it out there with the best of them, so he's obviously being able to take advantage of his length on that type of course instead of a PGA Tour course. I really, expect him to probably win this week or not finish high, and then I really don't expect him to play a lot more on the Champions Tour for a couple of years. I think he's going out there and seeing what it's like, and he doesn't want. This is not what Phil wants. Phil wants to be competing at the highest level, and his game is still close to being there.
Well, is he in the U.S. Open this
I think he has to be, doesn't he? I mean, he's got to be qualified for it.
Because I know, like in previous years, he's been very close to not being in the event. Like obviously, he'll be in the Masters, but I'm not 100% sure that he is in the U.S. Open.
If he has like the points or the pre-qual, like some sort of pre-qualifier.
Yeah. And I didn't know. Well, I think this year with the way the U.S. Open's working, because of like COVID and stuff, they eliminated all of the qualifying events.
Mm-hmm.
So remember we were talking about that a while back where they're like, well, how do you pick like what AMs to let in the field? Like, how do you make that determination if you don't have the qualifiers?
Mm-hmm.
So if he is in the event, then I think playing this week definitely helps him stay sharp and gives him some confidence around going out, hitting the ball, going low, watching the ball go in the hole, like making some good putts.
Yep.
I think all of that is good, like juju heading into the major championship stretch that we got. Not just the 2 that we have in 2020, but even going into 2021, will definitely help benefit him because he's not playing in, the rest of the playoffs. So we'll see what happens. Obviously, he's going to go out. Obviously, he's going to rip it up. He's playing a shorter golf course, and he's still in great shape for 50 years old. So Phil's going to do Phil. He's going to always compete. He's going to always play well. And, it would be awesome to see him win another major.
Yeah, totally agreed. Sometimes, they always say, like, if you're really struggling to move up some tees and just have a round where you play really well and then just kind of get that mojo back, maybe this is it for him. He sees the 61 on the card, and even though it's a little bit of a shorter course, he can maybe translate that to back on the tour. So super interesting to watch there. Moving into our rotating topic, we're just going to kind of go with who's going to win the FedEx Cup. Obviously, a huge prize pool. A lot of big changes with these events coming down the line. and the winner just gets a crazy amount of points compared to the rest of the season. So things do get switched around a lot, but I'll let you go first. Who's going to be your champion?
I bet JT wins it again. I bet he just flips a switch and just because he won the BMW last year. I was watching the highlight. PGA Tour posted like a highlight reel of his like a couple key shots on Sunday last year, and it was insane. Like some of the shots he hit were just incredible. Yeah. And I think he just flips a switch and just takes it over. I mean, typically you see like a few guys who, come out and like start to play really well in these a couple wins here or there in these like playoff events, and like you would think like, oh, like Dustin, but I can see Dustin kind of cooling off actually, and then JT just ripping forward.
Yeah, I mean, Dustin barely took the lead over JT, so that's going to be tight at the top anyways. I think, I could see JT even getting like a top 5, top 10 this week and like taking back the lead and then carrying it to next week. At the end of the day, like in my opinion, especially since the restart, JT's been the best player out there, so it's really hard to bet against him. Everything in his game is working well, and he's just played so solid that it's just really tough to bet against him at this point. So we'll see how this week plays out. We obviously know he likes the course, and his game fits the course. So I'm on board with JT as well. So no interview this week. Super excited that you guys tuned in. Make sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitch. Really appreciate all your guys' support, and we will be back next week recapping the tournament, talking about the FedEx Cup, talking about if Tiger made it, talking about JT's performance. And again, just really appreciate your guys' support, and we'll see you guys soon.
Later.